Hey, this is Anthony Cesari with SuccessForYourSongs.com, and in this video we're going to talk about melody writing, and in particular we're going to look at how you can write melodies for your entire song. A lot of times we talk about melody writing in some of these videos, and we're talking about the melodic motif, which is a phrase, one particular phrase of your melody. But a lot of times we don't talk about how to sort of take that motif and spread it out throughout your entire song. So even if you're good at writing motifs, you may not understand how it applies to your song as a whole. So that's what we're going to look at here. And we're going to be looking at the song Our Love is a Work of Art as an example. So I've got a link for that on the screen here. So go ahead and click that and check it out. And when you're listening, pay close attention to the melodies that are in the verse and the chorus especially. And how those melodies change from line to line or don't, because that's really what we're going to be talking about in this video. So pause this, go check that out, and I'll be waiting. Okay. All right, so now that you listened through to this melody, I want to sort of go through and show you what's happening here. So we do have a bunch of different motifs that are happening in this melody. And again, a motif is this one line of melody. That gets repeated and sometimes changed as the melody goes along, because repetition is really important to making a song that's catchy and memorable. But if you just repeated the same line over and over again, you know, people get bored of that. So you have to have this balance of repetition and change with your motifs. That's really what's going to make a strong, effective, or a song effective melodically. So let's look at the first verse of this song, and typically verses are going to be the same, so the motifs that happen here are going to happen in the first verse and the second verse as well. So what I've done is you could see in the lyrics here in this part right here, I just put an M1, meaning that that's the first melodic motif, and then that repeats again. You'll see I wrote M1 again, and then it changes. So motif 2 is different from M1. So take a listen to that. You can hear how you can follow along with the lyrics too. Those first two lines have the same melody, and then that third line has a different melodic motif. So check that out.
Your smile was a colorful scene that sparked all these dreams, though our souls had just met.
So you can see repeat, repeat, change. That's what happens there, and you could see that visually here. That's the first M1, and then the second motif, and then the third one, which looks different visually, and you heard that as well. So then those three lines as a whole repeat again. So first we saw them here, and now that whole group repeats again for repetition. So it's kind of like, you can look at it as two parts that repeat one after the other, or it's, 1 1 2 1 1 2. So listen to that.
Your smile was a colorful scene that sparked all these dreams, though our souls had just met. The beats of our hearts seemed in sync, and I constantly think, is she in love with me yet?
All right, so now let's check out what happens when we go into the next part of the verse here.
If a crack in the dam's the initial sign of the force from the water can't confine, that was my excitement when meeting you.
Okay, so here we have a third motif. And this motif gets repeated basically 3 times in a row, but on this third one, I call it 3A because it starts the same and then it changes at the end. So you heard that here.
That was my excitement when meeting you.
That part is different from the 2 times before it. And in that whole section repeats again. So you can see how there's this balance of things that are new parts that are coming in, and also a repetition that's happening. And I usually refer to this as a melody map for a song. So for our verses, we're seeing it's 1 1 2 1 1 2 3 3 3A 3 3 3A. That's what happens in the verses. So it's important to think about this as you're crafting your motifs. How do you want them to be dispersed throughout your section so that you have this balance of repetition and change to keep people interested? So we're going to talk about how you can come up with your own, so you can plan out your song's melodies in an effective way. First, I just want to mention, if you have not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, you could do that with the little subscribe button on the lower right-hand side of the screen. And also click the little bell there so that you'll get notifications for all of our videos when they're added, when new videos are added, so that you can always be first to check those out. Also, if you have not checked out our free cheat sheets and you want a lot more melody writing information, I've got a link for that in the upper right-hand side of the video. So be sure to grab those there. If you like what you're learning about melody writing in this video, that'll give you a lot more information to experiment with to improve your melodies. Okay, so one thing that we can keep in mind, because you see that I've laid out this melody map for my verses, and you may be thinking, like, where does that come from? How can I write one for myself? And there's no hard rule for this. So what I recommend that you do is look at a song that you like, and how is the melody map for that song? What is it doing? So if we use this song as an example, you know what it does, right? So if you're writing a song of your own, you can use that melody map. You can start by saying, okay, I'm going to have my first motif repeat twice, and then change on the third line, and then that first one will repeat twice again, change on the third line. So you can use this song or any song that you like, and as an example, this one I've sort of done it for you. But then when you come up with your own motifs, you can just kind of like plug them in and see how that works until you get an understanding of how this will work for you on your own without referencing other songs. And I should also mention that, it's important to keep in mind that you're not copying other people's melodies. That's copyrightable stuff. You never want to do that. When I'm talking about copying a melody map here, I'm just talking about the order that your own motifs happen in. So you're not referencing other people's rhythms or notes. You're probably going to be in your own key, your own mode. Your line lengths are going to be different. All that stuff's going to be different and unique to your song. All I'm talking about is that you have a first motif that's totally different than mine or whatever song you're referencing. And then you'll have a second motif, which is totally different from this one, but just as a way to have a structure to your melodies throughout your song. And then I also just want to look at the chorus in this song too, because typically the motif is going to be different from your chorus to your verse, because you need that contrast to make the sections unique from one another. So you can see how I laid out the motif here. It's a totally different motif in the chorus, like I said, which you'll typically do in a chorus. But this motif just changes. It's basically repeated 4 times, but I'm calling the second and the fourth line 4A because there is a little bit of a difference at the end. So let's listen to the chorus. You can hear how it's totally different from the verse, but it does change a little bit within itself. So check that out.
We craft it with synergy, a portrait of who we are. To us it's a masterpiece. Our love is a work of art.
So you hear how the ends of those melodies were different from line to line. You can kind of see that visually here. This was the first line, and then this is the second one. So that last note just changes a little bit, just enough so that, like I said, it's familiar, but it's not constantly repetitive, which could get boring. Another way to make a change, I'm showing here this 4A, and what I tended to do in this song whenever you see one of these A sections is I change the end of the line. But another thing you could do is like lift the whole section up. So you might have a motif that's exactly the same, but the notes are just higher. So the rhythm of it is the same, but the notes just change. That's another way that you can create one of these A sections. There are several ways to do it, and I have more on that in other videos. But for this video, I just want you to think about how you can lay out your entire song with your melody, because that's something that we cover a little less frequently, but I think it's important to talk about. So hopefully that information helped you out. If you'd like to hear this song again, I've got a link for it right on the screen here, and you can even save it or stream it. Also, if you have not yet downloaded your free melody writing cheat sheets, you can grab those by tapping on the screen here. And if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel to stay updated on our latest songwriting videos, you can tap our logo on the screen for that. Thank you for checking this one out.